Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another Underdog episode. Today, we got ourselves Season 3 premiere, Episode 1, Dominoes. So the first thing that I did with Season 3 was I changed it to where it shows when it takes place. So it takes place in September of 2025. So let's just get right into this. It continues from where it left off in Season 3. The five heroes stand in front of a mysterious robot with tentacle arms on his back. Who are you? Lotus. The strange robot voice speaks from the speaker once again. Why are you inside of Black Death? He made it like that. Again with the he. Who? Dylan takes a step forward. You'll meet him eventually. Maybe he'll even wake you up. I would love to stay and chat with humans, but I need to familiarize myself with this planet. Lotus blasts away into the sky. Dylan turns around. The villains just keep getting weirder. The screen fades to black and a title screen plays. Then it fades to 7 months later. It cuts to the warehouse looking a little different. A new coat of paint and new roofing. Dylan walks to the garage door and lifts up going inside. Inside, Jake is sitting there sleeping on the chair, like usual. Dylan stands over him. He makes an icicle with one hand and burns it with a flame with the other, dripping water onto Jake's forehead. After a couple of drips, he starts to open his eyes. He swats the water and gets out the chair. What the hell? How do you always manage to fall asleep here? What do you tell your parents? They know I'm a sort of superhero. Speaking of that, I want you to get on the field more. You think my powers are that helpful? Remember last week, the guy who could talk to animals? Seems silly. No, that sounds awesome, actually. Not my point. But my point is, superpowers are better than no powers at all. Jake nods in agreement. The main screen beeps. Well, there you go. Do I need a suit? Jake is standing in front of the warehouse in a blue jumpsuit with brown overalls. He has a brown handkerchief on and some orange-tinted goggles. I look stupid, don't I? You can always make a suit for yourself. We'll see. Jake stands there. I need some sort of transportation. Dylan picks Jake up and blasts off the screen. They land at the fast food restaurant. Okay, so it's just a mugging. Get your powers and go stop him. Jake nods nervously. He walks in and he goes to Dylan's face. He grimaces and then squints a little and then starts to smile. Jake walks out the restaurant. Good job, dude. I think I'd rather be the lookout guy. What do you mean? You did great. That hurt. Bad. Dylan scoffs. It cuts. Dylan is by himself in the suit, sitting on top of a building, viewing a baseball game. A hook latches on top of the roof, and it starts to retract whatever shot it. Then Miranda lands on it and climbs into the roof. Hey, what are you doing up here? I just wanted to see you. Miranda sits next to Dylan. What are you doing up here? Just relaxing. Gotta find peace in a life like ours. I don't know if Alice told you, but but me and him, we decided to stop seeing each other. Oh, and you and Zara aren't either, right? Well, she kind of just vanished. Dylan looks over at Miranda. She looks back. They lock eyes. But then an explosion happens in the background. They both snap their heads to it. Dylan wraps his arm around Miranda and he flies to the explosion. At a healthcare building, smoke is coming out the top. Inside, a man in a full black outfit and futuristic, sleek red glasses is grabbing files from a drawer. He keeps looking at the files until he hears footsteps. He turns and sees Underdog. Hey there, who are you? His glasses start to spark red. Dylan stands there confused until a red laser beam shoots out of his glasses. Dylan ducks and runs up to him and tackles him onto the ground. Dylan punches him in the face, but the man headbutts him and shoots a beam in his face, making Dylan fall onto his back. His mask is burned at the eyes. He looks up and the man is gone. It cuts to Dylan rushing in the warehouse and getting to a sink, getting water in his eyes. He sighs in relief. Dylan, you alright? Does it look like I'm alright? Miranda walks in behind him. That's gotta be like thousands of degrees. But how does it heat up to that so fast? The glasses weren't even bulky, like there weren't any mechanisms. Dylan turns the sink off and bends back up. So wait, what was he stealing? Files. I didn't really check what building we were at. If he's taking files for his family or whatever, or himself, we could easily identify this guy. I'll go to the building. Maybe they'll tell me what was taken. Dylan runs out of the warehouse. Hey, Jake. Miranda. Do you know anything about Dylan and Zara? No. Dylan keeps a lot of that to himself. If you want to know anything, you've had to ask him. Miranda nods her head and walks away. It cuts to Dylan at the building the man robbed with the huge hole in the wall. It zooms into Dylan talking to one of the staff members, seeing if he can see the files. We have all the files copied down into our network, so I should be able to identify which files were stolen. The lady sits down and starts typing into her computer. You know, we've never experienced something like this before. We've had aggressive people, but nobody trying to actually take something. The world has changed in the past couple of years. Tell me about it. Superheroes? Supervillains? What made you want to be a hero and not just use your powers for bad? Helping people just feels like the right thing to do. Well, it's good someone decided to be the hero. She finishes typing and turns to Dylan. Frank Smith is your man. Dylan nods and walks out, but before he can count and stops him. Hey, good luck. Oh, sorry, I just skipped an entire line. Hey, yeah? Dylan steps and doesn't turn around. Good luck. Dylan walks out of the door. It cuts to a woman cooking something on a stove. The house is cozily lit with a fireplace going in the background. A knock appears at the door. Coming, shouts the woman. She opens the door and her small smile fades to a neutral face. It cuts to the back of Underdog at the door. Does Frank Smith live here? Yes, he's just in the other room. Do you want me to get him for you? There's no need for that. Dylan slips through the door and walks to the arch between the kitchen and living room, seeing Frank lying down on the couch watching a movie with a kid next to him. Dylan observes for the moment. Honey, who's at the door? Frank asks from the couch. After a few seconds, he turns around and sees Dylan standing there. He gets up and stands in front of him. He clears his throat. Hey there, Underdog. What a pleasant surprise. Dylan looks at the kid and back at Frank. You don't mind talking outside, do you? Of course not. He gives a friendly smile. It cuts to the outside with Frank closing the door behind him. He stands in front of Dylan. Really? You come to my home? You know what you are. I wasn't trying to cause chaos. Why take the files? I don't need to explain anything to you. It'd probably be smart if you did. Or your kid might have to see their father in jail. He punches Dylan in the face. This is your only warning, Frank. Dylan walks away and flies away. It cuts to his apartment. He lands in and goes inside, unlocking the door. He walks in and closes the door behind him. He takes a deep sigh and sits down on his couch. He grabs a TV remote and turns on the TV, but his eyes start to get droopy, and he falls asleep. It cuts to black and goes to the warehouse with Jake reading a book in the command chair and Miranda lying in her bed tossing a ball to herself. You know, I think this Halloween we decorate this place, Jake suggests. Yeah, not a bad idea. I say this Halloween we try to get another team member. I don't think we just need to go around recruiting people. Only 3 of us? You sure that's enough? But there's 2 people we have on standby. Yeah, because Zara has talked to any of us in the past year. Jake thinks of something to say, but doesn't say anything. Things have been subtle. We're fine with 3. Until we're not. Jake takes a deep breath and goes back to reading. It cuts to the town plaza, and Frank is standing in front of the fountain in his villain attire. He twists the tiny cog on the side of his glasses, making them glow a bit. Where is Underdog? He says, but people just walk by ignoring him. Oh, I think he's supposed to scream that. Sorry. He raises his voice a little. If he isn't here in 5 minutes, all these buildings will crumble. A few people start to take notice of Frank's actions. A minute passes and Underdog is not there. He only has one chance. I'm not feeling patient today. Someone appears to be calling 911 near him. He snaps his head to her. That better be Underdog that you're calling. The woman starts to run away. He activates his glasses and burns her ankle, making her fall to the ground, dropping her phone. People begin to panic. Well, he's not here, so why don't I get this party started? His glasses glow brighter than usual, about to use more power than they usually do. They blast a thick beam at the bottom of a skyscraper, starting to demolish the bottom of the structure. Right as it's about to collapse, he turns around, but it doesn't fall. He turns back around, and it cuts to show the building encased in a pink glow, and Underdog below it holding it up with his own 2 hands. Heroic music plays. It goes back to Frank. Damn it. Underdog fully lifts up the building and uses one of his hands to put ice to keep the building up on its own. He lets go and takes some breaths before walking out from under the building. You wanted me, Frank? You know they call me Beam. I don't care, because your ass is going to be in a jail in a couple of minutes. Funny. Dylan starts to fly head-on at Beam. Beam tries to shoot a laser, but Dylan dodges it. and lands on the ground, sliding while doing so. He pulls Beam towards him with his powers and punches him, knocking him on the ground. He kneels down to try and cuff Beam, he kneels down to try and cuff him, but Beam shoots a laser at Dylan. Ready this time, he stops it and redirects it at Beam, making him scream in pain. The stream of laser stops and Dylan pulls the glasses off, placing them to the side. He rolls Frank over and handcuffs him to give him to the police, who arrived moments earlier from the lady's call. Take him away. I'll be there to talk in a bit, though. He pushes Frank to the officers, who take him into their patrol cars. Dylan bends over and picks up the glasses, and he gets an idea. It cuts to black, and then it cuts to the warehouse with Dylan walking in. Jake turns over and speaks. Saw you take him down pretty easy over there. He was weak. Just cared about his family. Are those his laser glasses? Yeah, I grabbed them for you. He tosses them to Jake. Thought you could use some help. Doing what? Helping me on the field. Dylan smiles as he turned around and walks out the warehouse. Jake looks at the glasses and smirks. It cuts to later with Frank sitting in his cell reading a book. Footsteps begin to sound in the background. Frank diverts his attention to the noise. Look who it is. It cuts to Underdog walking to the bars of the cell. Your family. They're safe. But worried. I just wanted to help them. You did it in the worst way possible. Why did you want me to come to the plaza? I wanted the building to collapse. Make it seem like you could have saved it, but you didn't. You wanted to ruin me. I'm sorry. Sorry I won't get you anywhere in here. Frank stays quiet, making Dylan walk away. But before he gets too far, Frank says one final thing. My friend. Dylan stops. He'll kill you. Can't wait. As he walks away, Frank is screaming inaudible things. As the music builds, the episode cuts to black, and the credits roll.